Take some calls here.
Okay, now I believe we are live. Hold on. Okay, here we go. So we got people already talking to us. Oh, yes, here we go. We're in the corner right there.
Okay, yes.
Let's get this party started. All right, guys, officially, I'm Kendra Douglas. That's Dante. Welcome to the play-in version of Game Day Live, where we give you the behind the scenes of what goes on during a game day. It's a play, Dante.
It's unbelievable. We've never been in a play-in.
I know.
We don't know how to react to this kind of a thing. It's exciting. I'm excited because I've never been on this show. I've never been on this show, and I've never won an Emmy, and this is my chance right now. Now I'm excited. On the show. No, I've never been on- I see everybody. You had Jalen Suggs.
Yeah.
I think you got. Tell them who you got coming up.
We got Mo Wagner later tonight. I know.
Unbelievable. You just keep racking up guest after guest. So this is my first chance, and I'm super excited.
Will Dawson said Dante.
Hey, there he is. What's happening, Will? This is twice in one day for Will.
Was he on your other show?
Actually, 3 times. He met me at the gas pump.
Nice.
Somehow he found out where I was going to be. And then we did Magic Insiders. And then tonight. That was nice. Well done.
I love that for you. Okay, hold up the shirt again so we can see.
How about this, right?
Magic fans who come to tonight's game, you're getting that shirt. These are the shirts you're getting. It says play the song because, of course, that's what we love to do here when a Magic win. I think it gives the energy of like, yeah.
It does. And it was me, Kendra, David, and Jeff that put all the shirts down. It's been a long day. It's been a long day, so we hope you enjoy them. But it adds to it. Anytime you walk into a building, and we got the blue out going on, we remember our Magic fans, blue and white ignite that we've had for years in our team's history. So there's nothing like the playoffs, and this isn't it yet. You got to win to get in, but it's obviously a playoff field. You got to win this basketball game.
Yeah, I want to kind of talk a little bit about that, Dante. Like you mentioned, this is the first time the Magic have been in a play-in. You're going against a team who you've already seen 4 times already. When you think about this type of matchup, like what can you grow from it? What can the guys take away from this?
Well, this is huge. Thankfully, I think, Kendra, about last year, getting that experience in Cleveland, even though it didn't go our way, even though you didn't pull it out, you went to a game 7, right? So you got the experience, you played in front of a hostile crowd, you won every game on your home floor, which is huge. So most of the guys on this roster know what's coming, like Paolo, Franz, Wendell, they got to go through the fire, so they know what's coming. This is going to be an eye-opener for Anthony Black. He played 11 minutes last year in the playoffs, so that's going to be new for him, right? He was not in the role that he's in now. Goga Batadze was not a part of the rotation. Caleb Houston was not a part of the rotation. So for those guys, this is going to be new, so they get to check that box. And then it's, you also have in your back corner, in your back pocket, Kendra, it's not win or go home, right? If you lose, you get another shot at it on Friday. But if you win, you're in, you get another 5 or 6 days off, which is huge.
No, you just mentioned that, but of course we know we would love to just have that win today. So then you could get ready, put it to bed. Yeah. That way you can get ready for the playoff and get excited. You'll know who if you get that 7 seed, you'll play Boston. If you get that 8 seed, you'll play Cleveland. Quite frankly, I would like Boston as I think the matchup is better between them. I think the guys are great. But anyway, Cleveland too. We saw them win against Cleveland already this season. No matter what, these 2 teams can take on whatever opponent that they are going to go head-to-head against. I want to get to some comments.
Go easy on me.
Okay.
Easy on me.
They said that I know you guys are trying, but the audio's out of sync. So for we're trying. We're trying.
Okay.
Dante,
we got that going for us. Okay, cool. So
Dante equals nomination, Emmy nomination. Love that.
Okay, yes, we're going to get it. Kendra's already got a shelf full of them. I just want one.
I don't. I don't know where he gets this from. I don't.
Maybe this will be it. Somewhere along the way.
Yes. Go Magic. I have been a Magic fan since the Penny Hardaway and Shaquille O'Neal days, and that lasted from 93 to 96. But my GOAT for the Orlando Magic is none other than Mr. T-Mac himself.
Ooh, nothing wrong with that. And listen, the last duo to both score 20 points per game in the same season was Shaq and Penny, and now we did it again this year with Paolo and Franz. So that's a pretty good duo. We'll get you up to this duo now in the 2020s, but there was nothing like Tracy McGrady. I mean, that was a show every single night. So I don't blame you. I don't blame you for that one. But this duo now, they're about business, and you saw it this morning. They are focused. They are dialed in. They're ready for this game here tonight. And listen, one thing to think about too, Kendra, This is new for the Magic, a play-in scenario. This is not new for the Hawks. Trae Young is 3-1 in the play-in. He averages 28 points a game and 9 assists. This stage is what he loves, especially on the road. So that's something that the Magic will have to contend with here certainly tonight.
We know when Trae Young gets going, he's also someone that's hard to stop as well. So that'll be something that I think the Magic will definitely look to try to contain him a little bit more, see how they can slow him down a little bit too. But you're right, it's going to be a battle against this Hawks squad. But it's going to be a great game. When you think of what Paolo Banchero's been able to do in the month of March and April, these are things that we could have seen easily within the beginning of the season if he didn't get hurt. But to see it now, too, he's just been playing so well.
Since the All-Star break, he's doing things that there are 2 other people in the NBA doing. And you're talking about Giannis, and you're talking about Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, this is the cat. He's been an MVP candidate for now a quarter of the season. That's how good he's been here ever since we came out of the All-Star break. So that's what we have here in Central Florida. And then right behind him is Franz Wagner, right? So these two together, I think the confidence is sky high. I think the question, and I'd love to know from Magic fans, is who needs to be the third guy, right? Because you need a third guy. Somebody's got to step up. KCP has won 2 championships, right? He's never been in the play-in, but he knows what it takes to win a big game, right? Wendell Carter Jr., when he's dominant like he's been the last couple of weeks, game changer, right? Anthony Black, is he the guy? Is it Kojo? Who would have thought, right? Kendra and I, right? We're halfway through the season. We love Kojo. We see him, we see him in the lobby and on the bus, and that never did we think that's going to be your starting point guard for the last 15 games. And I think, and I'll go down saying this, I think he saved the season. Right? I think what Kojo did, you're 10-5, Corey Joseph as a starter. I thought it was Cole Anthony before that when he jumped into that starting slot. And I think it's been Kojo since then. So Kojo's a guy, Jonathan Isaac's a guy, Cole Anthony. These are guys that have to be an X factor for the Magic moving forward.
I completely agree with you on that one, especially when you talk about Corey Joseph and what he's been able to accomplish. We talked to him when they were taking on the Timberwolves, and he mentioned, you play your role and you become a star in that role. And the fact that he's been able to be a star in his role. And he's also talked about his time when he was in Golden State, how he would look at Steph Curry and how he warmed up, how he went about playing, and he took some of the things that he's done and he's tried to replicate that. Seen a very great guy just be able to facilitate on the court, doesn't the ball over as much. He's been very great to work with this team. He really has helped out with this group since being a starter.
He's been huge. And you know what he did? The first thing he did when he got on the floor is he realized, let me get the ball to Paolo and Franz, right? And sometimes it's that simple, right? Get them the guys where they want to get it, right? Get the ball to Caleb Houston, get the ball to Wendell. KCP, all of a sudden, has gotten more shots since the All-Star break, right? Kojo is finding him, and he's been one of the hottest three-point shooters in the NBA since the All-Star break. So these are things that he's helping to facilitate. Don't turn the basketball over. You'll get it'll be a track meet. If you turn it over against Atlanta, they're going to take it and go the other way. And they've got the guy that led the NBA in steals, then Dyson Daniels. So you got to protect the basketball. Kojo Joseph played with Steph Curry, right? Klay Thompson, right? Then you've got KCP, who played with Nikola Jokic and LeBron James, right? You've got a lot of guys that have been in the thick of it. Corey Joseph's won a championship, just like KCP has. So they know what it takes to win a big game. And I think if you're a Magic fan, I think you feel good about that.
Anthony Black is the X factor, responsible for replacing Joe Ingles' playoff minutes and the role from last year. So that's who they're saying is going to be that X factor going into this, is Anthony Black. One thing about AB, and he said this too, is that the reason that he has really developed and loved this group is because they've allowed him to make mistakes. They've allowed him to make mistakes, but to grow from those mistakes. He's been so much more aggressive at the rim this year. He's been so much more aggressive just in the way that he's able to carry himself on the court. He is someone who I think definitely had a great season this year in growth.
Well, and I'll throw this back to you because I think that's a great perspective. You saw Anthony Black last year as a rookie, right? We saw on the road, we saw how big the eyes were. We saw how nervous and how big that. Doesn't he seem much more confident this year?
Much more confident, so much more relaxed, so much more at ease, much more like he knows what he's doing. He understands it. Even if he does make mistakes, he's very much he's quick to clean it up. And I think you see that a lot within him. And that's great to have that kind of player understand, the way to be, you want to be coachable. and you want to be coachable at this level. And it's great to see that from him for sure.
And he doesn't lose confidence. If he makes a mistake, if he turns the ball over, go out there and get it back.
Yeah.
Right? Go make a play. And I think that's what was hurting last year. You make a turnover, or you make a mistake and you're looking over your shoulder, you're waiting for coach to pull you out. That's kind of what he's talking about, playing through those mistakes. And that's been huge. This guy has a chance to be the difference maker. We lost Jalen Suggs.
Yeah.
Can AB be that guy? Right? Can he be that guy? We lost Mo Wagner. That's a huge piece of our heart and soul in our second unit. Can Goga be Mo? Can those guys somehow, in their own way, replace those two and give us what we need going into tonight?
I hope so. But let's go ahead and make our way over to head coach Jamal Mosley. Let's go in the back. We're going to see if we can find anybody. So Dante, you want to come with us? You want to hear what Coach Mosley's saying? All right, let's go. We're going to see JT. Let's go head over. I'll let our camera guy.
Throw it to him. We literally walk over.
We're literally walking over there. What's going on, Jen? Okay, so yeah, we're gonna hear head coach Jamal Mosley, isn't it?
We're on the road. It's a different vibe. We're working, we're hustling, we're moving. This is so much more laid back. I don't have to wear a tie. I kind of like this. I really like it.
Okay, I got a comment that Dante was the star of the show for the Dante and Galante show. You were the star.
Can you let George know that? Can you let George know that? Yes, I appreciate that. I don't agree. That's very kind. But if you just would mind relaying that to George.
Yes, we'll let George know. Look at we will let George know that. What else do we got going on? One of KCP Houston, Gary TDS needs to get hot from behind the arc. Yes, so either KCP, Caleb Houston,
yes.
Gary, Tristan Da Silva, one of them needs to get hot from behind.
You know how hard this is to do? So she's got the microphone, she's got her bag, and you should see what's in these bags, by the way. She's carrying the bags and the phone and the microphone. You got everything in there, and a notebook.
Here is the man that's gonna learn that you were the real star of the show.
No,
Why did you have to look at your phone to read that? That means clearly he was the star. Is that this comes from Mrs. Marcatelli?
Exactly. This comes from George Harrison, my mother.
Am I on TikTok right now? Is this a TikTok?
You kind of, I mean, it is on everything.
Snapchat.
YouTube, Twitter.
Sign a waiver to be on Snapchat?
You've already signed, all of y'all signed your life away today. Y'all already. Right. All right, we're going to listen to head coach Jamal Mosley, and we will come back to you after, maybe, possibly. We'll see you.
We talked all season about opportunities. What type of opportunity lies ahead for your group tonight with the ability to get in through a win?
I think just being at home is one great opportunity for us to come out, show exactly how we know we can play. Again, one chance at it and be able to take care of home.
What is the day like today for you from a coaching perspective, getting ready for a night like tonight?
Just going over film again, getting these guys prepared during shoot around, getting the rest that's needed, going over some old end of game plays, talking with the coaches, little things like that, just keeping the same routine, nothing out of the ordinary.
These guys, kind of on that vein, these guys are pros. They've been in big games like this. What do you need to say to them, or what do you say to them before they take the floor? Is it just kind of business, not business as usual, but take care of business?
If playing a team 5 times, you understand exactly what you're going to see. So again, mini playoff series for the most part. We've seen them, they've seen us. Just being able to go out and play our brand of basketball.
In that same vein, you guys had your first taste of playoff experience with this core last year. It's play-in tournament experience for the first time this year. Is there anything different to that, just besides the novelty that it's the first play-in tournament for this team?
No, not necessarily. I think we've been here in this situation before for the most part. Last year against Milwaukee, you win, you get a chance to go and get the seeding. But we've been saying one game at a time for the last 2.5 weeks, and these guys understand the importance of this game, how we need to play, and what we need to do.
Jamal, in a game like this, do you guys want the guys to come out loose, or just ready to play, ready to flow, or do you want a certain amount of intensity?
I think you have to harness whatever energy that gets you ready for this game. I think the intensity, the focus, the crowd, all those things are going to be a factor. Getting out the gates hot is going to be very important, but also being able to sustain that for 48 minutes.
Oftentimes you talk about the importance of the home court advantage and just the fans here, but Paul Porter is going to be just kind of wrapping up the last little bit of his career just throughout this postseason. Can you just talk about his legacy and just what he brings to this atmosphere night in and night out?
I think he just brings, he represents the Magic in just such a special way for his 36 years, I believe. Just being able to be that for this group, this crew, and what he means when you walk out there and you see him and he's communicating all the things that are going on within the game. It's what he's meant since I've been here has been fantastic, and I'm just grateful to have been, experienced that for my time with him.
Coach, how inclined are you to mix up your coverages on Trae Young?
I think very. I think you've got great players need to see different coverages, different lineups, different defenders. I think that's what great players are used to seeing. There's nothing that you can throw at him that he has not seen.
And how do you go about weighing the potential danger of maybe blitzing him and seeing him pass to an open shooter? How do you weigh whether it's advisable and not?
I think you just have to take what the game is giving you at times. You just got to read the game in those moments and understand that he's probably 90% of their offense, and some guys are going to make shots that he's created for them. So we've got to just be smart with him, knowing exactly who we're closing out to, how we're closing out. That's part of the game plan, knowing exactly that we don't want him to get the easy baskets. That's the biggest priority.
Coach, Okongwu had 4 threes last game on 7 attempts. Are those shots that you're okay with him taking, or is that something that you want to try to slow down?
I think 3 of them were wide open, and I think our ability to get back to him and close out the right way is going to be very important. He's proven that he's able to make them, so now it's not just that he's not going to be wide open. You've got to at least get a second-hand contest up when he takes that shot.
Anything else? All right, thank you.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Okay.
So you don't have to go. Hey, everybody, welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. You guys just heard head coach Jamal Mosley speak before today's play-in game. Good things that he said. Of course, always got to keep this team ready. They know, like he mentioned, they're playing this team for the 5th time. They know what to expect and what they're going to get from them. Overall, though, your expectations, what would you like to see tonight, Dante?
First of all, wasn't it kind of the answers get a little shorter, right? We're a little more laser focused here today. Not that we're not during the year, but you could tell this game means a little something more, right? So we're a little more direct. I think you can't turn the ball over tonight. I think that's huge. You heard Coach Mosley say that. You have to watch their threes. You have to run them off the three-point line, which we're one of the best in the NBA at. You have to rebound. That's not been a strength since the All-Star break. Needs to be tonight. You can't give them second chance opportunities. They had 31 second chance points in the last meeting here in Orlando. That's going to be difficult to overcome here tonight. You got to protect the basketball. Keep getting to the free throw line. And I think with Paolo and Franz, use your size, get to the free throw line, finish in the paint, and I think it'll all be a recipe for success. Trae Young is going to make big shots.
He is.
You can't hang your head. You can't get demoralized. It's okay. But other than that, let's go. Let's play our game and let's go. Let's go.
And
the playoffs. Let's go.
And with fans like this one in the stands too, I'm sure the Magic fans and family and everyone who's wearing those shirts, we cannot wait to see you guys repping those shirts tonight. Please take so many photos. Enjoy the game. Enjoy this night. If you are here, if you are not here, thanks for joining us. Next, you will hear Jake Chapman, and get ready for that one because if you guys are going to listen to the radio, there's another special guest joining Jake today on radio. One Jeff Turner. I want to hear that one too. So you guys will hear Jake Chapman talk for a little bit before we have Courtside Countdown with me and Mo Wagner and Dan Savage. He will be there too. But thanks for joining us and listening to us, and get ready to listen to Jake Chapman. Bye, guys.
Caribbean honeydew, whipping out Abels, no condiments. From Barranquilla, no argument. She going hard like a Cayo. Don't care what they say, hell if I know. I'm chilling with babe with my eyes closed. Got the champagne with my blindfolds. How much a flight in Miami? Shopping and tripping with Moochie the family. Drop top when I draw down. Like the hell of savage like I'm Randy. I'm on 1,000, living my life like I don't get no hoots about plan B's. My life something like a Tahoe. Yours something like a Camry. Yeah.
Welcome back.
What's up, everybody? Jake Chapman here with you, and we're up on the radio deck getting set for game number 83, I guess we're calling it. It's the postseason. It's not the playoffs, but it is the play-in as the Atlanta Hawks come for the second time in a week, fifth time this season. Two teams who are very familiar with each other, but getting set for an awesome atmosphere here at the Kia Center. We started to regain the vibes last season, of course, in that Cavaliers opening round series. In fact, game 82 against Milwaukee, if you guys remember that Sunday afternoon last year, that was an atmosphere unlike anything we'd experienced in maybe the last decade or so. So Orlando is a basketball town, and Magic fans are going to be locked in tonight in not a lose and go home type situation, but a survive and advance type situation. The Magic can lock up the 7 seed with a win tonight against the Atlanta Hawks, and that would set up a date beginning on Sunday afternoon with the Boston Celtics. We don't have official times just yet, of course. Lose tonight, and then all of a sudden it is lose and go home. That would be Friday night. We would play the winner of the 9-10 game, which will be Chicago versus Miami, and that'll be tomorrow night. And then the winner of that game, of course, on Friday would take on the Cleveland Cavaliers, the top seed in the Eastern Conference. I'm going to have Jeff Turner on the call with me tonight. He's not here just yet. He'll be sitting right here. But no local television tonight. TNT has the exclusive window. So if you want to listen to a local broadcast, make sure you lock us in. Our flagship station here in Central Florida, 96.9 The Game. You can always stream us, of course, if you're in the listening area on the Orlando Magic app or on the iHeartRadio app. And if you're outside of the listening area, make sure you check us out on Sirius XM, or you can subscribe to the NBA Audio League Pass. Okay. Got a lot to get to before this one. Of course, the Hawks and Magic split the season series 2 games apiece. I don't think Sunday's game really means anything. I'm not sure we'll see a ton of Keaton Wallace tonight. But I think you can kind of dive into the 2 wins the Magic had over Atlanta. Obviously, the big one was last Tuesday, and that was the most definitive win. It was a 7-point win. The other 2 games prior, 2 matchups within 10 days of each other in the month of February, both teams split, and it was a 6-point game one way and a 6-point game the other way. So these 2 teams are obviously very evenly matched. You can look at the records, and they would illustrate that, just the game separating them record-wise. But I think you can sort of find a game script that you're looking for if you look at the 2 wins. And interestingly, they are sort of different game scripts, those 2 wins. You go back to February 20th, the Magic that night shot 38 free throws. They made 26 of them. 27 of those free throw attempts were between Paolo Banchero and Franz Wagner themselves. They scored 58 paint points, and they led on the fast break 26-14. And that, again, was a 114-108 Magic win over the Hawks back on February 20th, a week ago here at the Kia Center. In, not even arguably the most important game of the season. It was a lot different. The fast break points were 5-5, so the Magic didn't get out on the break, didn't push pace, didn't need to. At the very least, when I say push pace, early offense is one thing, but points on the break, getting up and down, that was not the case a week ago. Even though the Magic were able to force 18 Atlanta turnovers, Magic shot 50% from the field that night, and although Trae Young had a good game and Onyeka Okongwu had a fantastic game, nobody else did much for Atlanta that night. And so that's where you start. Obviously, Trae Young is going to get the lion's share of your defensive attention, and that is the way it's supposed to be. The guy finished the season this year leading the league in assists for the first time in his career, 11.6 assists per game. He's 14th in scoring as well, 24.2 points per night. In his career against the Magic and this season against the Magic, he's been right about there or better. Magic have actually limited his assist numbers this season, averaging 8 assists per game, which is good for everybody. It's a couple below for Trae Young, but he scores 28.3 points per game. So to me, first and foremost, you want to make Trae Young feel you no matter what. It's going to be a long physical night if you're wearing number 11 for the Atlanta Hawks. You want to pick him up, I think, at times full court, at least make him work to get the ball across the timeline, and even still, hitting him, pressuring him in the backcourt, getting the ball up across, maybe even trapping him a few times and making somebody else bring it up. You just want to take him out of his comfort zone as much as possible. You want to defend him hard, and you want to make him feel you all night, but you don't want to put him on the free throw line too many times either. Trae Young, third in the NBA in free throw attempts. He gets there 7.4 times per game. He's also been shooting the three very well as of late. He's made 48 triples over his last 15 games. For the season, though, he comes and goes. 34% three-point shooter. So if he is going to be shooting from the perimeter, you want him to be shooting over a defender, and preferably over a bigger defender, preferably over a Franz Wagner or something to that effect. He does turn it over against us. The Magic are one of the better teams in the league at forcing turnovers. So is Atlanta, by the way. It's one of the only things defensively they do really well, and that is the Dyson Daniels effect, to be sure. But the Magic have forced 5.7 turnovers per game in 3 matchups with Trae Young this season. So if you can keep him off the free throw line, if you can turn him either into a scorer or a distributor, not both, and if you can force, 4, 5, 6 turnovers from him specifically, then I think you would say you're doing a good job. Of course, Trae Young has all sorts of play-in experience. The Hawks have been in the play-in tournament now for 4 consecutive seasons. Last year, they did not advance out of it, but Trae Young has played in 4 play-in games. And as we know, play-in, playoffs, postseason, anytime the lights are bright, Trae Young is going to show up and deliver. So you start, obviously, your defensive game planning with that guy. And then I think you got to think about Onyeka Okongwu a little bit. He was awesome last time we saw Atlanta, had 30 points in that game, knocked down 4 triples in that game. And then off the bench, those new Cavs additions have definitely paid dividends. Karis LeVert has been just sort of instant offense for this Atlanta team, and then George Niang spacing the floor and running his mouth is what George Niang brings. Look, George Niang is a guy that every other locker room and every other fan base loathes, but if he plays for your team, then you love him, and that's been the story going all the way back to Utah, Philadelphia, Cleveland, and now here in Atlanta. But he can shoot the ball very well, obviously, so don't let that guy get under your skin, A, and B, make sure you stay stuck to him on the perimeter. I think Niang is going to potentially play a big role in this game if the Magic are needing to help off and if they're needing to pack the paint in order to keep Trae Young out of there. Let's take a look at our YouTube comments here. We got people jumping in. I can scroll up and see the comments from this afternoon as well. Will Dawson said, welcome back. What up, Will? I know he'll be in the house tonight. Let's see. We got Vikram said, if so, if we make the finals, we're down 1, Game 7. Who takes the last shot? I'm going to take the easy way out of that one, Vikram. You make the right basketball play. But I would say the ball's likely going to be in the hands of P5. And then you got some good other options as well. I don't think anybody hates the idea of Mr. Fourth Quarter Franz Wagner taking a shot in that particular scenario. Luke XH tuning in from Brisbane, Australia. Let's get that dub. Let's go, Luke. All right, we are international. Quick Tip says they have no one to stop Paolo. I think that's an interesting point, Quick Tips. Look, we saw this a lot just a week ago. Onyeka Okongwu was defending Paolo head up a lot of the time. And Onyeka Okongwu is a really good young defender, but he is a big. He's 6'10", 240 pounds. Paolo can go around him. I think you're going to see a whole lot of – look, I thought before last week's game that Paolo was going to see a whole bunch of double teams. Quinn Snyder, and maybe that was because it was towards the end of the season and he didn't want to show too much. Looked to me like Quinn Snyder was matching up man-to-man Onyeka Okongwu and Paolo Banchero most of that game. And if that's the case, I do like our chances. Paolo ended up a week ago with 33 points. He was 12 of 24 from the field. He got to the free throw line 10 times. Paolo he's top scorer in the Eastern Conference post All-Star break. 29 points a game. It doesn't matter if you send 2 at him. He's going to make the right play out of it. I do expect to see a bit more of a kitchen sink type approach tonight defensively from Quinn Snyder and from the Atlanta Hawks. But bottom line is, this is an Atlanta team that does not defend very well, period. They're 27th in the league in points allowed. They give up over 119 points per game. That's not their bread and butter. They will turn you over. They want to get out and run off of those Dyson Daniels steals and deflections. But it's not a very good rebounding team, first and foremost. It's not a particularly good defensive team, just, man-to-man and head up. So they're going to have to come up with some tricks, I think, in order to defend Paolo Banchero, to be sure. I think that's a great point. There aren't many teams in the league who do have fantastic matchups defensively for Paolo Banchero. But with all of that said, I think this one very specifically is it's a tough matchup. I think even with the size that Atlanta can trot out there, their specialty defensively is at the guard spots and on the wings. And whether it's Risa Shea, who weighs 200 pounds, Mohamed Gay, who I like, weighs 210 pounds, Onyeka Okongwu, who's a big boy, but maybe a little too big, and Paolo's able to kind of go around him. It's just not a great matchup defensively for Atlanta tonight. And so that's why I expect to see maybe some zone. Certainly, I think they're going to throw maybe not necessarily trapping the ball out of his hands, but always having kind of a second defender lurking and shading towards Paolo. I would expect to see that over the course of tonight as well. It's Jake Chapman here with you. We're getting set for the Magic and the Atlanta Hawks play-in game here, game number 83 here at the Kia Center, and I'm checking out your comments here on our YouTube page. We're going to head down to Kendra in a moment, and she'll be speaking with Mo Wagner. How about that? All the nice guests jumping on with Kendra. She had a chance to catch up with Jalen Suggs last week as well, and I know those guys amped up for this one. You think about what the experience last year could mean for this team. Play-in game is unique to be sure, but you went 7 games with the Cavaliers last season, and you were able to sort of shed, I think, a lot of those playoff jitters. You saw it certainly in games 1 and 2 up in Cleveland, but I thought the Magic were able to acquit themselves quite well once they settled in to that series. And one guy I have my eye on, and this is just a hunch, last couple games, we're starting to see Jonathan Isaac look like he did at the end of last season. Last 5 games, he had 9 blocks and 4 steals. Of course, his most games played this season was 71, going back to his second year in the league back in 18-19 when he played 75 games. So Jonathan has been available all season. I know that was very important to him, but I think at this point now, he can kind of cut loose a little bit. I think J.I. wanted to make sure that he sort of eased his way through the year. I think he trusts his body right now, and I think you're at a point now where it's kind of all in. You push all your chips into the middle. And so I like the idea of J.I. kind of, taking his time and building towards the end of the season, and now you could just let it all hang out. Minutes restriction, if there has been one over the course of the year, if he's defending and if he is playing a major role, and I'm talking blocks and steals, I'm talking deflections, I'm talking offensive rebounds, I think J.I., certainly when you look down Atlanta's bench, could be a trick up Coach Mosley's sleeve to be sure tonight. And I think he could make a big difference if you do advance to a 7-game series. Just aren't many defenders coming off the bench in the NBA that have the capability of wrecking a game plan like Jonathan Isaac does. So I think J.I. could be a big X factor in this one. We're always looking for the third scorer, the scoring X factor. Anthony Black, we know, is going to be on the floor quite a bit. Keep an eye on Gary Harris as well. Coach Mosley is going to trust his veterans, I think, in spots like this. Gary's been available since the beginning of February. It's not too long, but Gary's had those recurring hamstring issues the last few seasons. So you talk about trusting your body. I think having Gary comfortable and knowing that that the end is near as far as the season goes, and then he can kind of burn it out as well. And, of course, Gary coming off nice performance, a 4 for 4 from three-point range. Meaningless game, of course, but on Sunday against Atlanta, looked like he had it sighted in. And you think about that Cavs game, the big Sunday afternoon win over Cleveland in March where you snapped their 16-game winning streak. Gary Harris and Anthony Black changed that game with their defense in the third quarter. So you got different sort of options that you can throw off the bench. And, you think about full court pressure and trying to throw different looks at Trae Young, pressuring the ball. It takes waves of defenders in order to do that. You want to sort of send them out in 4 and 6 minute batches, I think, of playing time. burn it out, leave it all out on the floor, and then we'll get you a sub because you win this game tonight. You buy yourself another couple days off until we'll see Boston on Sunday. So I think Gary Harris could be a big role and a big X factor on either side tonight. He might not even be in the rotation. His minutes might go to Caleb. We'll see. You've got some options as far as the backup two-guard spot goes, but Gary Harris, to me, is kind of lurking. He and Jonathan Isaac both, we've seen them, they've had their moments over the course of the season, but we know when Jonathan Isaac is locked in and impacting the game defensively, there are very few better, and Gary is one of our best floor spacers no matter what. You trust what you're getting defensively from him. We need guys to knock down shots from the perimeter, and I think Gary could definitely be one of those guys. I mentioned the two different sort of game scripts. I think that's going to be big tonight. You don't want to get caught up. I think the Magic were kind of playing with fire back in February when it was a 26-14 advantage on the break. What we saw a week ago, 5 points on the break for them, 5 points on the break for us. That's much closer, I think, to the game flow and the style that Coach Mosley wants to see tonight. So it'll be interesting to kind of keep an eye on. Is it turning into a track meet? Is it getting out and going? Are teams pushing pace? Both teams pushing pace off makes or misses? Or are we able to sort of slow things down, kind of drag them down into the style of game that the Magic want to play? Because when we talk about Magic basketball and us playing our style of game and imposing our will on other teams, the final score usually ain't 130 to 125. It's usually a lot closer to 112, 108. Something like that, I think, would certainly sort of fit what Coach Mosley is looking for here tonight. Corey Joseph making his 15th start with this group, 16th start of the season. Last 15 games for Kojo, 38 assists, 6 turnovers. He shoots 37% from 3 over that span as well. He has been an absolute godsend for that starting lineup, to be sure. And then some pretty positive numbers here. Franz Wagner, for instance, 3 games against Atlanta this year. About 28 points per game, 6.7 rebounds, 4.7 assists. And maybe the most important number for Franz this season against the Atlanta Hawks, 48% from the field. He has been very, very much so efficient offensively for this Magic team. And, Dyson Daniels, great defender, and he is big. He's rangy, 6'7", 199 pounds, but he is more of a guard. I think they'll probably try him against Franz. I think Franz and Paolo should be able to get downhill tonight, and I'm keeping an eye on those paint points as well. Both those guys getting in close, those point-blank looks, and then potentially going to the free throw line a whole bunch of times will be a big key tonight. Rim protection, not exactly Atlanta's specialty, although Okongwu certainly can hold his own in that regard. And then Risa Shea, defensively, that's one of the only things he can do well. It's so young and very rangy. His help defense, not bad in that regard, blocking shots. But we've just got, I think physicality is going to be a big role tonight. And I'll leave you guys with this. I just kind of go through and I look at the matchups just, man-to-man, right? Trae Young is 6'1", 164 pounds. Corey Joseph is 6'2", 200 pounds. You think about Reza Shea, their starting 3 at 6'8", 200 pounds, and that is, he's a $190, I think, with wet boots. Franz Wagner, a lot more heft, 6'10", 220. Paulo, 6'10", 250. Dell, 6'10", 270. I told Coach Mosley this morning, I had an old football coach who used to say, be the hammer, not the nail. And I think against the Atlanta Hawks, we can come out and hammer them. And I'm not talking about hammer them, go up by 30 at the end of the first quarter. I'm talking about hitting them. The game obviously tightened up. It gets a lot more physical in the postseason, but they want to turn this into a bit of a finesse game, and I want to turn this into a rugby scrum. We need to go out and absolutely hit them tonight. Rebounding's always been a huge key with this team. With that said, the Atlanta Hawks shoot a lot of long threes. Obviously, Trae Young does. There's going to be a lot of long rebounds tonight. So my last key, obviously the physicality plays a big role, but my last key tonight for the Magic is going to be team rebounding and the guards specifically. Kojo, Kenny, Anthony Black, Cole Anthony. Each of those guys should have 4 and 5 rebounds apiece or something along those lines. Maybe one of them gets up around 7 or 8 rebounds. But the guards combining for up around 20 rebounds in this game will be an absolutely massive key tonight. Those long rebounds, those 50-50 balls, those are the ones that we got to own, and it always seems to come a little bit more to fruition. You always get that extra juice when you're here at the Kia Center. So making sure when the shot goes up, you're hitting somebody, and making sure if that ball hits the floor, we're the ones tracking it down. Those are going to be big keys here tonight against an Atlanta team that we've seen the book. We know exactly how to beat them. Now it's a matter of going out and replicating what you did last Tuesday in what at that point was the most important game of the season. Now we have the most important game of the season, the 83rd game of the season, and I, for one, cannot wait. Jake Chapman here with you. I'll have Jeff Turner with me on the broadcast tonight. We're going to have the pregame show at 7 o'clock. Brandon Kravitz, of course, 96.9 The Game, our flagship station. You can stream us in the Central Florida area on the iHeartRadio app or on the Orlando Magic app, and outside of the listening area on the Sirius XM or on the NBA League audio pass. Jake Chapman, lock us in, getting set for the Atlanta Hawks and the Orlando Magic play-in game. Game number 83. It's coming your way in just about an hour. We'll send you back down to the floor.
Huh? Your leg.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to Courtside Countdown. I'm your host, Kendra Douglas. Thank you for joining me today. And we have a host with us. We have our guest with us, Mo Wagner, in the building. Mo, how are you? How's it going?
I'm doing good.
Yeah?
I mean, I think I'm on pace with my rehab. I'm doing better mentally, and obviously excited to watch the guys play some very meaningful basketball. So looking forward to it.
I love one of the comments in here. It said Coach Mo Wagner, because one thing that we have seen you do this season is kind of be on the sidelines, really coaching up your teammates a little bit. How good is it to kind of still be active and part of this journey?
I think, coach is a little, how do I say, it's a little misinterpreted probably. It's more, a little bit more, for me, it's more an observing role. I kind of told myself, if I want to get something out of this, I might as well start somewhere, and kind of trying to see how the coaches work from the different perspective, and kind of view basketball more as a whole and not from an individual perspective. And it's been a lot of fun, but obviously you don't want to make it about yourself. And I'm no coach. I'm just here to, have fun and kind of like learn.
Oh, I'm sure all the guys miss you. Hold on, I think maybe your mic is working this time. I'm sure everyone misses you. We miss you. We talk about how much energy you bring to this team when you're on the court. Where does that come from with you, and how have you been able to try to kind of do that still while you're on the sidelines?
Yeah, it's obviously difficult, right? Like it's something you can't provide all the time, and you got to be very cautious of it and train it the way you do it, because you don't want to make it about yourself either. You're hurt, and that's how it is. You sit on the sidelines, and that's what I'm saying. Trying to find the right mix between connecting with your teammates, but also learning and taking stuff for yourself, and making the best out of this experience to get out of it in a better way. So it's not always easy.
Yeah.
But like I said, I'm trying to make the best out of it.
I feel you. I want to get to some comments real quick. Someone's asked, "How is the knee? We miss you." Another fan said, "Mo is one of my biggest." Oh, I'm Mo one. They're your biggest fans. Sorry.
Is this live? Like they're talking to us right now?
Yes, this is
That's
live.
kind of cool.
Yeah, so glad that you're still here to provide your energy and great vibes to the team and your role. Thank you for coming to courtside. We love that. A lot of people just saying, "Love you, Mo. You're one of their favorite players." It's good to see Mo. Let's get it, Magic. Yeah, these are all live. Look at you.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome, because obviously I haven't been out here this early in a long time. I just get out here for the games. It's cool to feel the energy. Obviously with the T-shirts, it's like a playoff atmosphere,
Yeah.
This is where you miss basketball the most, obviously. I've had a couple tough days here, looking forward to this, and obviously you want to play yourself. But this is what it is. This is part of the deal, and again, I'll be back next year and enjoy this too.
I mentioned to you when you had your injury, I said, "Welcome to the ACL club," because I too tore my ACL. One of the hardest things for me was relearning how to walk again. What was one of the hardest things for you during this rehab?
Well, I'm still doing that, and I'm obviously, it turns out it's not that easy for tall people.
It's not easy.
Yeah, it's hard too, because it doesn't go straight up.
Yeah.
All the time. The curve kind of goes down, up and down, and you got to be very patient, which isn't necessarily my strong suit.
Yeah.
But again, I take it as a challenge also for my game, because that's kind of something I want to work on anyway. So maybe this injury is a way of telling me where to improve, and I'm taking this as an opportunity to get better at that part.
Yeah. So, okay, I want to ask you to read that. Well, only if it's appropriate. Someone asked you something in German, and I just want you to.
You want to try, or?
I don't want to try.
No.
Wait.
Where is it at?
Don't read it out loud yet if it's crazy.
No, it's not crazy.
Oh, well, I didn't know.
Us Germans aren't crazy, except for me. It's just greetings from Germany.
Okay.
Greetings back. Grüße zurück.
Okay, there we go.
Very
I
good.
love that. I love that. You got a lot of fans on here for this one. I want to talk with you about tonight's game. I actually have a shirt right here. You want to look at the shirt? Hold on, you got to pull that for me. It says "Play the Song" on it. Those are the shirts that Magic fans will be wearing here tonight. You mentioned it just now. You get that playoff atmosphere vibe for sure when you're here. One, you gotta love the fans for the Magic. But two, how do you kind of feel like it is a playoff kind of game tonight?
Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a different season. It's so much more meaningful, like I just said. If you lose tonight, you force. It's basically a do or die game.
Yeah.
You're trying to play in the playoffs. That's what you work for all year, and if you don't show up tonight, that's in danger. So yes, this is a playoff game for us. I think that's how we should approach it. And at the end of the day, you can go through game plans and personnel and all that stuff. If you're not ready and if you don't play hard, you don't deserve to be anywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is what it's all about.
I want to talk about Paolo and Franz because those dynamic duo, they've been on fire since March, since coming back from All-Star. But your brother too, he's been great. It's weird to think that him and Paolo once had the same injury going into this season.
Yeah.
What has impressed you about his resilience maybe this year, or how he's been able to really bounce back from that injury?
Well, I mean, I'm so impressed by Franz. And obviously, so difficult for me because I'm his brother and I live together. So
yeah,
like I deal with him on a human level every day, or get to deal with him on a human level, but then to watch him on a basketball level, it's a tough spot he's in. You know, he carries a lot of responsibility. He's still growing into that and understanding that this responsibility goes further than just himself scoring, but also distributing for his teammates and making everybody else better. That's a tough challenge. And I think he's still 23, I think. He's so young, and he's carried himself like a pro. We all think he's like 30 years old the way he's playing. And obviously as a big brother, that makes you very, very proud. But if anything, I shake my head and I'm just glad to be part of the journey.
He's one of the guys for sportsmanship.
He is?
Player. Yeah.
Those people definitely don't live with him, so.
I love what you just said right now. You know, his age, and just how he acts right now as a player. When you see that he's on the court, where did he get that leadership from this season? It felt like it turned on this year for him.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, there's a lot of trust being put into him from this organization.
Yeah.
So with that, there's a lot of responsibility, and obviously he's a super aware human being, and he understands that. So he works accordingly, and he attacks every day as Orlando Magic accordingly, and he wants to win. So he takes that very serious, I think, and that's what the results show too.
Yeah, and his teammate Paolo Banchero too on the other side, also coming back from an injury too, the same one. But after March, literally coming back from All-Star, we really saw Paolo really turn it on a little bit. But I feel like we're seeing something that we would have seen all season if he didn't get hurt.
Yeah, I mean, of course, like Paolo is an incredible player. He knows it. Scoring 30 points is almost boring. I think they're also there. It's a big challenge, it's a big responsibility to carry that much of a offensive load, you know, and you got to still improve. You got to carry your team, and now this is what it's all about. So I think the most impressive thing is his determination. He wants to get better, and he's getting ready for this moment. And yeah, I can't wait to watch.
Yeah. Paolo Banchero right there. You see his regular season numbers so far this season, and of course we know that a lot would have changed if he didn't get hurt, but it's a growing lesson because it made you guys all step up too. What impressed you the most during that point of seeing everyone really come together and realize it really was about that next man up mentality?
Yeah, I mean, we see it all the time. Of course, it's about your stars, but it's about the others too. And this is a super connected team, and I think without that connectivity, we're not going anywhere. So these are not only good basketball players; they are great people.
Yeah.
They work accordingly, and that translates on the court. And like I said, it's not like this everywhere.
Yeah.
And I think everybody understands that and tries to get the most out of it.
All right, before we let you go, let's talk about the other opponents. Atlanta, this team, they're playing them for the 5th time. Trae Young, too, when he gets going, he can be hard to stop. What have you noticed about his game this season, and what are you hearing in the locker room of how you guys want to go into tonight's game?
Honestly, I don't really care about who we play. I have so much belief in this group. It's just no disrespect. I'm convinced that if we control what we are doing well, I don't think there's a way for us to lose. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to our defense. Obviously, that's what makes us as a team, our toughness, and if we come ready and play hard, everything will fall in place.
Mo Wagner, I want to get to some comments before we let you go. Mo, hope you are getting better. Is it a coincidence that you dress like an assistant coach? No, we've already talked about that. We
can talk about that a little bit. I get questions about that. One of my bigger pet peeves in the league. Not pet peeves, but like I just don't want to stick out with my outfit, you know?
Got it.
I'll wear a nice outfit when I go to dinner, but I don't need to stick out when I'm on the bench. So I kind of want to,
fit in.
Fit in, and not everybody needs to know that it's me, and if you look closer, sure, you'll figure it out, but it's not about me. I just want to kind of like fit in.
I love that. I love that. Okay. Also, I'm above the Magic Tunnel. Okay, so we've got fans actually here in the building above the Magic Tunnel watching this right now. Can't wait to have you back next season. Let's play the song. Mo, you are a champ. So to your Magic fans, real quick before we let you go, any words you would like to say to them?
Yeah, I miss you guys, obviously. It's really cool to kind of see the vibe here going on in Orlando. And I mean, we've been here for a while now to kind of see the development, and it means a lot. It's not often that you're part of something bigger than yourself in this league. The turnover is so crazy. So we carry that with a lot of pride, and we enjoy that and embrace that every day.
Mo Wagner, everybody, I appreciate you joining me on this show today. Thank you for joining
Have
me.
a good one, guys.
All right, well, let's talk about this play-in game real quick for us as we get ready for Dan Savage to join us in this group, too. All right, let's go to the sound for tonight's game and get you ready for the play-in game.
You just got to approach it like a championship game. It's only one game, so it's not a series or anything, so you can't really ease your way into it or get a feel for it. You got to be ready to go from the tip. So I think I'm looking to give 110% effort and do whatever it takes to get the win.
The message of the day was just it being about us. Understanding how talented, how good we are when we're all clicking on all the right cylinders. Understanding, what they expect from, guys, the Trae Youngs of the world, the Conwus of the world, and just understanding that it's going to be a playoff atmosphere. We've had a taste of that last year, so understanding that we got to come into this game as a must-win, as we've done before. So, that's about it.
Experience, it's the best teacher, so I think everybody learned a great deal from it, and hopefully that can help us tomorrow in that game. But it's also a new year, so I think for our group, I think just the way the year went, I think we're super excited just to get a chance to, play for a 7th seed.
Joining us, we just had Mo Wagner here with us talking. Great to just catch up with him.
So good.
Yeah, it was cool to hear why he also dresses like an assistant coach, doesn't want to stand out with his outfits. So I imagine we'll probably see him change a little bit.
He's not going to wear that on the field?
He's not going to wear that. I told him, I said, you look so fresh and so clean, right? Well, we just heard the guys talk from shoot around earlier today. You were there as well. What did you kind of get from shoot around and how the feeling is for this Magic team ahead of tonight's play-in game?
I thought both from yesterday's practice, today's shoot around, very focused and dialed in. I thought the guys were so sharp, paying attention to details, very focused universally, and I think a confidence too. So I think this group believes if they play their brand of basketball, follow the game plan, that they'll come away with a win tonight, and we'll be playing the song.
Yeah, I want to talk about this Atlanta team real quick as we go and talk about Trae Young and what he's been able to do so far. We keep saying that this is the 5th time that, they've played this team. Trae Young, though, is the head of the snake when it comes to that offense. What about him has stood out to you so far this season?
Trae is the type of dangerous guy that really makes playing in the play-in extremely tough because it's one game, and he's a guy that regardless of what you do could potentially go off for 40-plus points on any given night. And if you try to blitz him, he is the leading assist leader. He could pass the ball and create for others. So he becomes a very tough defensive assignment that you're going to need your top defenders to do a good job on. And this be a game that you would love to have Jalen Suggs.
Yeah.
But without him, you still have very capable defenders, guys like Franz Wagner, Anthony Black, who could be put on him and make life very difficult. And that's what the Magic are going to have to do against Trae Young tonight.
Yeah, I completely agree with everything you're saying. We had Dante talking a little bit about because we were asked, who are some guys who really can step up and be a role player or an X factor in this game? And, he mentioned you don't have Jalen Suggs, so you do need guys like Anthony Black. And you also love to see guys like Kojo really step up. He's been able to start more than, was the 16th game, I believe.
Yeah.
So he's been able to step up for this squad as well going into this season. It all comes down to this Magic's defense, though.
No, without question. You look over the last 14 games, they close the season out 10-4, and when you really look and dig into the numbers, a big part of that outside of Paolo and Franz is the supporting cast.
Yeah.
They really stepped up around those two. And whether you're talking about guys like KCP or Corey Joseph, other guys like Caleb Houston, Gary Harris, and Wendell Carter Jr. also elevated their games, along with Jonathan Isaac, who's returned to form defensively. So when you look at a game like this Hawks team tonight, who could play small ball at times, you're going to need those other guys to step up and make contributions. And I think if the trend continues, they will tonight.
Yeah, and keeping with Atlanta, though, because he also has role players who are doing very well, too,
Yeah.
when you talk about like guys like LeVert and how he's been able to play for this for that Hawks team. Seeing how those two guys on the court going head-to-head against other teams, what stands out to you about LeVert and his game?
Yeah, he's a guy who, at times in his NBA career, has been asked to be a primary scorer. So for this Hawks team to come in and be a spark plug, create offense, that's a role he's accustomed to.
Yeah.
So if you pay too much attention to Trey and you overcommit, he's a guy that could hurt you from all three levels of the court. And he was a problem against the Magic at points this season. So he's a guy that they're going to have to be keyed in on and really pay attention to the game plan, because he's more than willing to attack and be a willing scorer.
You just saw his numbers right there going into this season. This will not be an easy, matchup between this team, but it's going to be a good one too, especially since these guys have played each other so many times so far going into this season. I want to get straight to your storylines, and let's dive a little bit deeper into them. Go ahead. Take it away, Dan Savage.
Yeah. Number one is go with the Kia crowd, ride with the Kia crowd, get in that Kia and be loud, because the Magic were undefeated last season here at the Kia Center during the postseason. This is technically a postseason game in a way, so let's keep that trend continuing. All eyes on Trey. Look, the second that guy crosses half court, you have to be locked in because he'll either make a play for himself or for others, so that's going to require all five guys to be locked in. And then shout out to the supporting cast. We touched on it. Those guys have been so big lately, whether it's Corey Joseph, KCP. Let's see some more playoff Kenny, playoff Gary. Those guys are tie-in veterans who can really help shift a game from a 3-and-D perspective, and I expect them to do that tonight against this Atlanta team.
Completely agree. I want to get to some comments. Dan the man, everyone loves that you are here with us.
All right, I love being here.
Is a high point/low assist for Trey give a Magic a better chance tonight?
That's a question a lot of coaches rattle with is, do you take away all the passings and deal with him in a one-on situation? I think the Magic have the ability to do that because they have the type of high-end defenders a lot of teams don't have.
Yeah.
With a lot of teams, you have guys who can't stick with Trey. Whether the Magic have Franz, whether they have Anthony Black, whether they have guys like Gary, KCP, they have a number of defenders who could switch on to him and do an effective job defensively. We've even seen Jonathan Isaac in critical situations get switched on to Trey Young and really hunker down and lock in. So I think if you're the Magic and your head coach Jamal Mosley, you don't really have to make that choice because you could put one guy on Trey and still rely on the other pieces to guard their men.
I was looking at Sport Radar today, and I thought this was interesting. So Orlando is a combined 5 for 5 this season against the other three teams looking to qualify for the postseason for the East. So they lead that too because the Hawks are 4-4, Bulls are 5-2, and the Heat are 2-5. So this is a great opportunity for this Magic squad to get one away from tonight against this team, because ultimately what happens is if they do not win tonight's game, they will be taking on that 9th or 10th seed, whoever wins that 9th, 10th seed, and then that will determine the 8th seed. You don't want that to happen. You want to get away with the win tonight. That way you can just focus on the playoffs. But if that were to happen, you're talking about Chicago, you're talking about Miami. We know that those two teams are also very hard to defend too.
Oh, without question. Look, I think it's very important when you try to advance to the postseason. The Magic are going to be the underdog, whichever team they play. If they win tonight, they'll be playing Boston. If you have to go to Friday and win, then they would be playing Cleveland. And against either of those teams, you want to defend home court. That was so crucial last year against Cleveland. So the best way to bring back that home court dominance is handle this 1-1 and be done with it. And then you could really lock in and spend the next couple days honing in on Boston.
Yeah. Well, Rob Graham wants to know who is going to be tonight's X Factor. One player who you will think is going to be the X Factor tonight.
I'm going to go with Anthony Black.
Okay.
We've seen the numbers when he scores in double figures, how much success the Magic have. And I think on top of that, he's a really disruptive defender. And if he can do a good job on Trae Young and his minutes on him, he can help shift the game because the Hawks are going to be looking at their own X factor. That's probably going to be Dyson Daniels.
Yeah.
Averaging nearly 3 steals a game. They're going to be looking what kind of job can he do on Paolo and Franz tonight. Instead, the Magic are going to have their X factor, their defensive guru, Anthony Black. I think he could shift the game.
I love that. And unfortunately, we don't have an opportunity to show you of the upcoming schedule because we don't know yet.
No, it's a mystery.
It's a mystery. But hopefully this Magic team can come away with a win tonight. Of course, you see the sea of blue out here with all the T-shirts, too.
I'm going to say to producers, Stu and Maria, throw up the Boston graphics. Sunday, whatever time, TBD.
Yes.
Play Boston game 1,
Yes.
game 2, and then we'll be back here for games 3 and 4 against Boston.
I
like
love that. You got to speak that into existence right now. I feel like the energy is high. I heard Cole Anthony say, he woke up this morning early and he was like, that's when he knew, like, this is going to be a good day. So I feel like it's going to be a good day for this Magic team. Play the song, everybody. As we almost have someone run through our show. Play the song, everybody. Next up, there is no next up. Thank you for watching us today on the YouTube channels and on Twitter and on TikTok and everywhere else. Make sure you guys continue to subscribe to all of our channels. Hopefully we can have some more guests on. Hopefully we can do more and make this pregame show continue to grow for you guys. So thank you for joining us today, and we will see you next time.